you guys need to make this 6'9" point forward build. I'm gonna give you guys 3 total builds in this video. One, a balanced 6'11" build, then one more like two-way finisher type inside build, and I'll wrap things up with actually one 6'10" build, just so you know, give you guys more options for your point forward build. Also, I am going to give you guys builds for current and next gen. First, we'll start on next gen and then move on to current. Alright, so starting things off on the next gen builder. Again, I'll give you guys current gen versions a little bit later. For the position, you're going to want to go with small forward. Then moving on to the body settings. First, for the height, I'd recommend going with 6'11". For the weight, go with the minimum at 210. And then for the wingspan, go with 7 foot. The reason why we do kind of have to go with a pretty low wingspan for this build is to get a 75 ball handling rating. This is just going to make your dribbling a little bit better. Honestly, you can definitely dribble with only a 70 ball handling, but a 75 does make a difference. As I said in the intro, I'm going to show you guys a build with higher wingspan a little bit later. Now, despite having pretty low wingspan, you guys are going to see this build's finishing is still very, very good. Now, right here, we're actually going to max out our post control at a 99. This is not because we're making a post scoring build at all. You can post score on this build since you do get a 99, but you guys see down here, you're getting Hall of Fame unpuckable and Hall of Fame quick first step, which is just honestly absolutely crazy. Like a 6'11" build with Hall of Fame quick first step is crazy, bro. You definitely can dribble on this build, and your movement's gonna be like just as good as a lot of those 6'9" builds you guys have been seeing a ton of. You guys see you're getting 23 total finishing badges. It's not really a post scoring build, but if you're up against a smaller defender, you definitely can back them down and drop step them. And then if you're going up against a taller defender, they just will not be able to keep up with you. For shooting, you really only need an 85 3-pointer, and then I recommend going with a 75 midi for 20 total shooting badges. This build's greening very, very consistently. Do not leave me open. And then scrolling down to playmaking, for ball handling, you're going to want this at a 75. For pass act, bump this up also to a 75. And then for speed with ball, bump this up to a 67. You guys see you're getting 16 total finishing badges. You do get the +1 from the battle pass, or like level, I don't remember what level it is. And you do also get the +4 badges for becoming a starter. And I would definitely recommend putting at least some of your badges into playmaking. Now, me personally, I'm probably honestly going to put all 5 into playmaking to get 21 total. But honestly, I would recommend putting like at least 2, so that way you can get Hall of Fame unpuckable. Moving on to defensive / rebounding. First, for the block, you're going to want this at an 87. For interior, bump this up to a 72. Then for perimeter, you're going to want this right at a 67. For steal, you're going to want this at a 61. Defensive rebound, put this at a 78. And then offensive rebound, put this at a 71. You're going to get 20 total defensive / rebounding badges, which is definitely very, very good. I'm definitely very happy this build can play both sides of the floor very, very well. And it's just very balanced all around. On to the physicals. I don't really need to talk about this too much. They're very good all around. Also, when you do throw all your attributes into stamina, you do get 1 extra attribute, which you can just throw in perimeter defense. All around, I find this build very, very fun to use. It's not like a super competitive build that you're gonna see in like a lot of comp wagers and stuff, but being able to dribble on a 6'11" build with Hall of Fame quick first step, Hall of Fame unpuckable, as well as silver limitless range is just insane. As well, your defense is just very, very good, and your interior presence is also very, very good. There's really just no way to guard this build. Like if you're too small, I have a 99 post control and I can just post you up. And if you're too tall, you're gonna be too slow. I have Hall of Fame quick first steps. You're not keeping up with me. Now for takes, you get some very boring takeovers, honestly. I just recommend going with first limitless range and then secondary spot up. And as you guys can see for the build name, we have built an inside out scorer, which I guess does make sense as a name. Now, if you're in current gen with it, then I recommend doing is for your position, go with small forward. For the body settings, again, 6'11", 210, and then 7 foot for the wingspan. Moving right along to the attributes, this is basically the exact same thing. I think I might have made some very minor tweaks, but again, they are minor tweaks. For takeovers, you are able to unlock slashing takeover, so you can go slashing takeover for this build. And as you guys see, I built another inside out score, which does make a lot of sense as a name. Now, for version number 2 of this build, this is going to be a slashing version that's able to get a ton of contact dunks, literally every single contact dunk in this game, and it's basically just a Giannis version. For your position, you can go power forward or small forward. Honestly, I'm still going small forward though. Then for the height, I'm going with 6'11", 228 pounds, and then 7'8" for the wingspan. This build is gonna be very, very crazy. As I said, I'm making a Giannis Antetokounmpo type build, so for the finishing, we did have to go very, very crazy. Obviously, we want that 93 driving dunk and that 90 standing dunk. This basically allows us to get elite contact dunks, gold posterizer, gold rise up, and elite big man contact dunks. So we're dunking on everyone. For shooting, I believe unless you're like 7'2", 7'3", you should be able to shoot a little bit. You guys see we're getting 16 total shooting badges and 82 3-point rating. You can definitely green very, very consistently with an 82 3-point. Now moving right along onto playmaking. First for the ball handling, bump this up to a 70, and then 72 pass act. With this, you guys see you're able to get 13 total playmaking badges, which is pretty solid. If you guys do want bronze unpluckable, which is in my opinion pretty important, you are going to need to throw in at least 2 of your extra badges into playmaking, which is in my opinion definitely worth it. Obviously, the dribbling on this build is quite a bit worse than the previous build. You definitely need to know how to dribble with a low ball handling rating. Like if you've been playing guard your whole life and then you hop onto this build expecting it to be the exact same, then you're going to be disappointed. But if you know how to dribble with only a 70 ball handling like me, then trust me, you're going to be cooking up. For playmaking, this honestly is very, very good. You guys can just see it's just honestly very, very solid all around. Your rebounding is pretty good and you get that 93 block rating for gold anchor. And with a 78 wingspan, you're going to be stuffing a ton of shots. On to the physicals. These are also going to be very, very crazy. We're basically just maxing out everything. You do want that 82 vert so you can get elite contacts and an 82 strength so you can get silver bully. For takes, first, obviously, you're going to want to go with finishing moves. This is a Giannis type build. And then you can either go stuff box, but honestly, I'm going finishing moves again. If I make this build, it's solely to be a Giannis Antetokounmpo build that I can get a contact dunk every single possession. And you guys see, I built another inside out scorer. Bro, 2K only gives me inside out scorers for names. I'm not even kidding. Now to make this build on current gen. Now, if you guys are on current gen, it's basically going to be the exact same build, just with some very minor tweaks. Again, for the position, go with small forward. Then for the body settings, they are the exact same thing. No reason to switch this up whatsoever. For the attributes, this is again going to be very, very similar, but with just some very minor tweaks. I did go with more balanced rebounding instead of going with an 85 defensive rebound for silver rebound chaser. This is simply just to give us more badges, so you're not going to be snagging as many boards on this build. But due to the fact that this is current gen, again, I just need to switch some things up. And then moving on to the takeovers, first, you're going to want to go with slashing. And then honestly, for the secondary takeover, I didn't really know what to go with. I decided to go with spot of precision. I mean, just the idea of having spot of precision on a Giannis Antetokounmpo build sounds very crazy. And you guys see I built another inside out scorer. Bro, this is getting out of hand. Now moving on to the 6'10" build. For the position, you're still going to want to go with small forward. I know this is supposed to be a 6'11" build video, but I again just want to give you guys some more options for your point forward build. For the body settings, I'd recommend going with 6'10", a minimum weight, and then 7'5" with the wingspan. This gives you a ton of very, very important attributes. For example, an 85 3-point rating for silver limitless. For finishing, this is going to be very good all around. Right away, you guys see we're getting that 93 driving dunk for gold posterizer. As well, we will be able to get a little bit of driving layup and a little bit of standing dunk and a little bit of close shot for 20 total finishing badges. This build is going to be yamming on absolutely everyone, especially since you get that 93 driving dunk. Obviously, you're not going to be post scoring that much, but this thing is very crazy all around. For shooting, first for the 3-point rating, max this thing out at an 85. Then for the mid-range, you're going to want to bump this up to a 78. You should be able to get 21 total shooting badges. So this build's grading very, very consistently, just like Kevin Durant would. Then for playmaking, you're going to want an 80 ball handling, a 72 speed with ball, and a 76 pass accuracy. With 18 total playmaking badges, this build will be able to dribble very, very well. I definitely like that a 6'10" build this year is able to get an extremely high ball handling rating. Like 80 is honestly very, very good, especially if you know what you're doing. And then finally, moving on to defensive / rebounding. First for interior, bump this up to a 74. For the perimeter, you're also going to want this at a 74. Next, for steal, bump this up to a 71. For block, put this at a 93, so that way you can get that gold anchor, which in my opinion, a very, very important badge. And then on to the rebounding. Basically, what you're going to want to do for this is just go with 57 and 57. You should be able to get 20 total defensive / rebounding badges, which is very, very crazy. And then moving on to the physicals, you guys are going to pretty much just see what I go with. It's very, very good all around. And yeah, this is a very good point forward build that I would definitely recommend making. I do have a very, very similar build that I've been using for the past few days, and I like it a ton. It really is just able to do everything in this game at elite level. Now, for the takeovers, you get a ton more options. I would still recommend going with first limitless range and then secondary takeover gold pull precision. I think again, you do get a ton of good options like finishing takeover, for example. And we have built our third inside out score of the video. I guess this is what happens when you make a point forward. Like, I don't really know, 3 inside out scores is kind of crazy. Now to make this build on current gen. All right, for the current gen version of this build, it's basically going to be the exact same thing. So for the position, again, small forward. Then for the body settings, again, the exact same thing. 6'10", 200 pounds, and 7'5" for the wingspan. For the attributes, you guys can pretty much see how I upgraded it. I made it very, very similar to the previous build. Obviously, we're not trying to change things up too much, but we did have to change things up a little bit just because this is a somewhat different builder while at the same time being the exact same thing, if that makes sense. For takes, we're going with the exact same takeovers. Again, you can switch this up if you want to, but in my opinion, these are just my favorite takeovers to rock with for a Kevin Durant type build. And you guys see another inside out score. Yeah, we made 6 inside that outscores this video. But anyways, that is going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. There's 3 total videos on the screen right now. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.